There were 5 of us: Josh, Tyler, Ben, Lucas, and me, Daniel. Old high school friends reunited for a weekend camping trip deep in the woods. No phones, no signal, no distractions. Just trees, beer, and the kind of silence you forget exists. We parked at the trailhead and hiked in. A couple hours to reach the same clearing we used as teenagers. We laughed, shared dumb stories, and moved deeper into the forest. About halfway in, Tyler stopped walking. "Do you smell that?" It hit all of us at once. Smoke, not distant, fresh. Damp wood, still warm, the kind of scent you only get from a fire that's just gone out. We thought someone else had set up camp nearby. Maybe we'd have to find another spot. So we followed the smell, expecting voices, laughter, movement. What we found instead was absolutely silent. 4 tents, a central fire pit, smoke still curling lazily into the air, half-burnt logs glowing faintly, mugs left out, backpacks wide open, a flashlight still flickering near a log, but no people. "Hello?" Lucas called out. No answer. We moved cautiously between the tents. Everything looked like someone had just stepped away. One mug was still steaming. A half-eaten granola bar sat on a rock. A sleeping bag was unzipped halfway. Then Ben pointed at the ground. Tracks. Clear footprints, hiking boots. But they only led in from the trail. None going out, none at all. It was like the campers had arrived and never left. We stood in silence. Something was deeply wrong, and we all felt it, not just from what we saw, but from what we didn't. No voices, no wildlife, just the faint crackle of dying embers. Lucas moved closer to the campfire and reached out. Still hot. Ben circled the tents, squinting at the ground. These tracks aren't old. They're maybe an hour old, tops. The forest around us was dense, but we should have heard someone if they'd left. Twigs breaking, bags rustling, anything. But there was nothing. Then Josh said something that made all of us freeze. "Count the tents." We did. 1, 2, 3, 4. Josh looked around at us. "And how many of us are there?" We didn't need to answer. There were 5 of us, just like our own plan. 4 tents, because 2 were going to share. Ben scratched his head. "That's weird. A coincidence." I wasn't convinced. Everything felt too arranged, like someone knew we were coming and had set the scene to match. Tyler turned toward the trail. "Let's just go. We can find another spot. Seriously." That's when we heard it. A snap, loud, sharp, like a branch breaking, but not from the forest. From inside one of the tents. Josh grabbed a stick and approached. "Hello? Someone in there?" No answer. He crouched, hand trembling slightly, and slowly pulled the zipper. The tent was empty. No bag, no blanket, nothing. Except for a small notebook, resting neatly in the center. I picked it up. On the first page, written in big blocky letters, "Do not set up your own tents." I held the notebook in both hands as the others gathered around. The page felt dry, untouched by moisture or dirt, like someone had just placed it there. "Is it a prank?" Lucas asked. "Like someone trying to freak people out?" I flipped through the rest of the pages, blank, no names, no scribbles, just that one line. "Do not set up your own tents." Ben stepped away from the group and circled the camp again. I'm telling you, there's no trail leading out. Whoever was here didn't walk away. Josh pointed at one of the backpacks near the fire. Then where are they? I walked over and opened it. Inside, a few snacks, some clothes, and a wallet. I pulled out the ID card. Name, Eric R. Mason. Born, 2005. Hometown, 90 kilometers from here. He's real, I said. This isn't some fake setup. Someone was here. Maybe still is. Tyler knelt beside the campfire. Guys, this wood is still warm, like really warm. And then something strange happened. We heard a second snap from the other side of the clearing, but this time we saw the tent closest to us shift, just a little, a slight sway, like something inside had changed position. No wind, no movement from us. The tent had moved on its own. Josh took a step back. I don't care what this is. I'm not staying here tonight. We all agreed. We grabbed our packs and turned toward the trail. Just before leaving, Ben looked back at the still smoking camp. Then he said, Wait, wasn't that tent zipped shut before? It was wide open now, and no one had touched it. We moved fast. No one said a word as we followed the narrow trail deeper into the forest, just wanting to get away. Our plan was simple. Walk until we found another clearing, preferably far from this one. Somewhere that didn't feel like a trap. For a while, it worked. The trees thinned. The air cleared. We started to think maybe it really had been some messed up prank. Someone else's campsite, bad timing, bad vibes. That was all. But then Tyler stopped. His voice was quiet, unsure. You guys smell that? I did. All of us did. Smoke. Again. The exact same smell. Damp wood, ash, something faintly sweet, like a fire that never quite finished burning. My heart sank. Ben pushed forward, brushing aside low branches. We stepped into a small clearing. 4 tents, a still warm fire pit, the same blue backpack, the same half-eaten granola bar. Everything was identical. Josh whispered, like speaking louder would break something fragile. This can't be the same place. It wasn't? Not exactly. The trees were arranged differently. The slope of the ground was steeper here, but the layout, the tents, the gear, everything else was exactly the same. And then Lucas noticed something. There's a 5th tent. We all turned. Off to the side, half hidden in the shadows near the tree line, was another tent. A different one. Wrong color, different shape. Zipper open, and something was sticking out of it. A boot. We didn't move at first. The boot was ordinary, black, laced, muddy. It could have belonged to anyone. But what froze us in place was the way it was positioned. Perfectly still. No twitch, no shift. Not the slightest sign of breath or life. Josh slowly stepped forward. If someone's hurt, we can't just leave them. I followed, heart pounding. We stopped just outside the tent's entrance. The zipper hung open like a crooked smile. The fabric shifted ever so slightly in the breeze, if there even was a breeze. Josh crouched low and pulled the flap aside. Inside was a young man, lying on his side facing away, knees curled slightly and as if he just laid down to rest, except his skin was gray, His hands were shriveled like they'd been soaked in water too long. His eyes were closed, lips pale and dry. Lucas leaned in. Is he breathing? Ben reached down and touched the guy's neck. He's cold. I scanned the space around the body. No blood, no wounds, no sign of a struggle, but there was something under his hand. Another notebook. I slid it free, barely touching the fingers wrapped around it. Opened it. Different handwriting this time. Still blocky, still deliberate. They hear you when you think about leaving. We looked at each other, terrified to speak. Tyler whispered, then stop thinking. We turned and left the fifth tent behind. None of us wanted to admit it out loud, but we all understood now. This place wasn't just repeating itself. It was responding to us. We didn't speak, not even a whisper. Somehow, we knew it wasn't just words that mattered. It was thought, intention. Whatever had written in that notebook, it knew when we were thinking about escape. So we moved in silence, deeper into the woods. No trail now, just instinct. We followed the sun, though it didn't seem to move. The light stayed locked in the same dim gray hue, neither day nor night. After what felt like an hour, Lucas stopped and pointed to the ground. Footprints, fresh ones. They matched our boots. The same pattern, the same spacing, except there were too many. Tyler knelt to count. 5, 6, 7. There were 9 distinct sets of prints, overlapping and circling, as if versions of us had passed through here before, and again, and again. This isn't a forest, Ben muttered. It's a loop. We kept walking carefully, minds empty, trying not to form thoughts with edges. But then Josh raised his hand. Through the trees, a glow, red-orange light flickering behind the trunks. We approached cautiously, stepping into another clearing. 4 tents, 1 smoking fire, a mug, a granola bar, a backpack. It was all the same again. But now, someone was standing there, a tall figure, motionless, facing one of the tents. At first, we thought it was a person, maybe a camper, maybe help. But then it turned. Only its head. Not its body, just the head. Slowly, unnaturally. No bones could turn that way. No human neck bent like that. And it was facing us. Then, as if reacting to our fear, the fire blinked out. Darkness fell like a sheet. We didn't run, not right away. It was too dark, too sudden, the kind of darkness that swallows sound with it. No footsteps, no wind, just our own breathing, short, uneven, terrified. And then a twig snapped. To our left, then another, behind us. We turned in every direction, but there was nothing. The figure from before, gone, or hiding, or waiting. Ben flicked on his flashlight. It didn't turn on. Josh tried his. Flickered once, then black. Tyler's screen lit up for a split second before dying. Battery dead, he whispered before realizing what he'd just done. We all stared at him. He'd spoken. As if on cue, the woods responded with a groan. Not of wood bending or leaves shifting, but something else. A voice, layered, dry, and ancient. 5 entered. 4 remain. Balance maintained. Lucas shuddered. Number, we're all still here. But even he sounded unsure. I began counting us in my head, over and over. 1, 2, 3, 4. Where was Ben? I spun around. Gone. No footsteps, no sound, no sign of struggle. He had been standing right next to me. Josh whispered, panicked. We didn't hear anything. No one moved. Tyler finally broke the silence. This place, it takes someone every time we try to leave. We didn't say a word after that, not even with our eyes. The woods had ears, and worse, it had a memory. We stayed still, not because we wanted to, but because we didn't know what movement might trigger next. It was like the forest had rules we hadn't learned yet, and every time we tried to figure them out, someone vanished. Ben was gone, not a single broken branch, no rustling leaves, nothing to mark his exit. One moment he was there. The next, we were 4. Josh looked at me. His lips moved, but no sound came out. He was mouthing something. We're next. We started walking, slowly, cautiously. The clearing was behind us now, swallowed again by trees that all looked the same, too straight, too clean, like someone had copied and pasted them. The silence began to feel alive, like it wasn't just the absence of sound. It was the presence of something listening. Then Tyler stopped. He pointed straight ahead. In the middle of a path that hadn't been there a second ago was a single metal ladder, old, rusted, leading upward into the trees. It didn't make sense. There was no structure, no treehouse, nothing. Just the ladder, standing upright, vanishing into the canopy above. No way, whispered Lucas. Where the hell does that go? Josh took a step forward. I grabbed his arm. Don't. It's bait, like the tents, like everything else. And then the voice returned. But this time, it didn't come from the woods. It came from inside our heads. All of us heard it. Cold, layered, overlapping, like 1,000 whispers speaking at once. Climb or stay. Choose balance. Choose memory. Choose function. We stared at the ladder, and then Tyler did something we didn't expect. He smiled and started climbing. We watched in stunned silence as Tyler climbed the ladder. He didn't say a word. He didn't look back, step by step, higher and higher, until the leaves swallowed him whole. Then, nothing. No sound, no rustle, just the metal ladder now standing perfectly still. Lucas whispered, "What if that was it? What if he got out?" But I wasn't so sure. Josh turned to me, his voice low and dry. "There's always one." "What?" "Every loop, every camp. Every time we try to leave, someone disappears." Tyler climbed. That leaves 3 of us now. 3. I felt that number settle in my chest like a stone. I wanted to think we were breaking the pattern, that Tyler had escaped, but deep down, I knew what the forest had been whispering all along. 5 entered. 4 remained. Now there were 3. Lucas stepped back. His breathing was fast. "This isn't a place, it's a system." Josh looked pale. "A ritual." Then we heard it, crackling. Behind us, where we had just walked from, a soft orange glow bloomed. We turned. 4 tents. Again, a small fire just beginning to smoke. 1 mug, a granola bar, a flickering flashlight. and a fifth tent, open, waiting. I turned to Lucas and Josh. They weren't looking at me anymore. They were looking through me, number past me. I turned around, and there was Ben, standing just beyond the trees, pale, expressionless, like he hadn't been missing at all. He smiled, but his eyes were empty.